Elder. Have you ever heard of the term nigga wake up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm just asking. You think you've ever
Well,
had
I'm acutely aware, Charlemagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you got to think a certain kind of way? I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
I'm not gonna say it upset me, just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like that. But what I did say,
well, you just not talk about a nigger wake up call, and it seemed to me that should have been a wake up call on your part to have a white guy come in here who also said, by the way, about Mitt Romney. Because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seems to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, no, for the record, I'm not a Democrat or Republican.
I didn't say you were.
Yeah, I think both.
I don't know what you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation. Yeah, I'm just saying, but you are black. And to have a white guy come in here and tell you have to say think a certain kind of way, otherwise you, quote, ain't black. Wow.
How should I have replied to him, you think?
What I just now said, how dare you insult me and tell me I think as a human being, let alone as a black person? I don't tell you how to think, Joe Biden. How dare you come in here and tell me how I should think? I'm going to vote for Donald Trump if I want to vote for Donald Trump. And if I want to vote for Donald Trump, it does not make me not black. 20% of black people, black men, as I said, voted for Donald Trump in 2020. Are they not black now? So only 80% of black men walking around are really black, 20% are not because they voted for Donald Trump. How insulting is that? How condescending is that?
I mean, you're probably right, but I didn't take it in that way.
Well, I did.
Welcome back to Breakdown Friday. Joseph Ward, Professor Carl Tone Jones, and Patrick Irvin. We are talking about that good old Negro wake-up call. We're going to dig deep into this Negro wake-up call, what it is, even though it's just been explained a bit, but we're going to go a little further with that, what it is and why it's even needed. Why is the Negro wake-up call needed? And the Negro wake-up call have existed for a while. And it's reserved for special Negroes with special ideas about themselves who really think that they're special in the world. But they are reminded because of certain acts or certain things that happen that you, like Trick Daddy said, you still a nigga. Right? So y'all be getting all uppity and thinking because you got comfortable around these folk that these folk really like you. But guess what? You'll be finding out, just like Candace Owens did, that you is still a nigga. So we getting into that. So PC, man, you primed and ready, my brother. Let's talk about this Negro wake-up call. So let's talk about, well, first let's talk about the interaction in this clip, and then we're gonna come back to the actual Negro wake-up call. Because it was interesting with Charlemagne posing the question the way he did to Larry Elder. Larry Elder, not necessarily with the way he came off, not necessarily being familiar with the term, but then clicked on, oh yeah, Negro wake-up call, then bam, hit him with the information. So what's your overall thoughts on Charlemagne trying to avoid his Negro wake-up call?
Well, first of all, I'm not buying it. Larry Elder didn't know that.
Yeah,
Larry Elder is a seasoned, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say certain words, but he's a seasoned one of those.
he's educated enough in these politics to know.
Right. Well, and he knows what it's like to be on that other side. He's always been sort of like the antagonist to any pro-black issue or any issue with black people concerning social injustice or any particular case that might show up. At the major networks always go to Larry Elder as their boy.
Yeah, him and Thomas Sowell. Well, yeah, him and Thomas Sowell are the ones that they go to.
Right. So they're the ones, they're on speed dial. They become the affiliates. They become sort of like, the black person that you throw in front so that they can catch all the strays. Yeah. And so Larry Elder was familiar with it. And it's funny because he baited Charlemagne into that. And
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, he baited, and for Charlemagne to have been doing this for so long, to allow himself to get baited into this situation where he had to know at some point that Joe Biden interview, that soundbite from Joe Biden, telling him that he's not a black man, putting his finger in his face. You know, he had to, at some point when you have these conversations, you have to realize that's going to be used against you. And so he should have been able to prepare himself, or at least have a better comeback right there, you know, then I wasn't upset. Listen, this whole notion of being unbothered, come on, miss me with all that. He was definitely
unbothered. What does it mean? How does that help you?
Right. And so, because for that particular instance, Larry Elder was right, because even when it happened, when the initial interview with Joe Biden took place, everybody was like, wow, how are you going to let this man come into your house, your studio, put his finger in your face and disrespect you in that manner? And it speaks to the fact that, you know, Negroes can get bought and paid for. And they feel like, for some of them, and I've heard Charles Barkley refer to this a lot, that black people that start to have fame and black people that start to experience being rich, because these Negroes ain't wealthy, they're just rich. It's a big difference. Wealth changes society. Rich just allow you to live a little more comfortably in society. And these Negroes ain't changing nothing. But Charles Barkley would always refer to it as the fact that they sort of have that they've elevated or they transcended race because of their wealth. It allows them to exist as an honorary white.
The OJ Simpson.
Well, yeah, I'm not black, I'm OJ. But that in itself, it speaks to something. I think we talked about this last week. I think Pat said it. If black people can watch this, if most of black people can watch this blackness off of them, and so that it would give them access to white privilege, man, listen, if you were selling it, you would become wealthy. I mean, and that's
no, but some black people have access to the skin bleaching stuff, and they're actually using that to literally wash off their blackness as much as they can.
Oh yeah. It's very popular, especially in the Caribbean and in Africa, and those, you know, they fancy it up and they use different terms for it here, sort of, you know, to get the blotches out of your skin. Next thing you know, you're beige. But the concept of the Negro wake up call is the fact that is the prop. I'm not going to say the concept. The issue is they use the same. It's the same stuff every time. This is not a new thing where Negroes are constantly getting their wake up call. Negroes get to a place where they get put in their place by the white establishment. Then you have the next generation that does the exact same thing. I'm not so mad about the Negro wake up call. I'm like, why can't we learn from the Negro wake up call? Because the Negro wake up call is kind of akin to the Talented 10th proposition that W.E.B. Du Bois put in place, and then was later, you know, utilized to create a glass ceiling for black people in terms of progress in policing any sort of steps forward that black people could make in impetus, whatever. It speaks to the fact that this status that they seek, it means more to them than building a power structure of their own. And therefore, we as black people will always seem to struggle, because just like white supremacy, this seems to be a system as well, where we have the so-called elite Negroes who forsake the rest of the niggas that they come from. And so it's not so much as the Negro wake up call and addressing it. It's the fact that the fact that they don't even have to use a new weapon to smack Negroes back into place. And I mean, let's face it. Bill Cosby did his pound cake speech. He got his Negro wake up call. Yeah. So they took all his wealth. Oprah Winfrey kept getting Negro wake up calls every time she tried to go into a fancy store and buy jewelry or expensive clothes.
Yeah.
Right. And they would lock her out the store. All of these folks, but here's the biggest problem with the Negro wake up call. We keep letting them come back. Right? We keep finding a way to legitimize what they've done, and we let them back, which speaks to the lack of cultural, civic esteem that we have as a community. And with that, I'm gonna land.
Nah, see, you ain't landed nothing because you supposed to forgive. Like you supposed to have forgiveness in your heart because God said forgive. So why wouldn't we let them back in? Because they are our brothers and our sisters in the struggle against racism, and they just fell short. So who are you to forsake them and try to keep them out the community? Because God said we supposed to forgive. Why you ain't got no forgiveness in your heart, black man?
Oh, I got
Said,
forgiveness, but I don't forgive
said,
anybody. I got to worry about having a shiv, you know what I mean, to stick in my back, or anybody that would step on me to help elevate them and keep them elevated by consistently stepping on my throat. I don't have any forgiveness for that. I'm gonna slice your ankles, and you won't be
you
able to
want to
walk.
be logical. Oh, you'll see. You don't want to move with forgiveness. You want to move with logic.
Yeah, well, I think the best
Okay.
way to do is, you know, when you. Never mind. Let me not say that because you need to get
You
my
want to you one of those thinking Negroes. Huh? You be
Joe, you
putting
gonna keep it.
what?
I've been trying to behave, man. I've been
Hey,
in rehab. I've been reformed.
I can bleep some stuff out. We come back to that. Pat, what's your overall takeaway from the clip, the exchange between Larry Elder and Charlemagne?
I thought it was interesting because on the one hand, I'm like, it's interesting. Charlemagne's been doing this for 20 years. He seemed more like he was trying to be Shannon Sharp than Charlemagne the God in that clip.
Now, don't bring me up. Do not bring me up in this thing with the Breakfast Club because I was not with the Breakfast Club. I was with Cat Williams and we did over 54 million. So do not bring me up with the Breakfast Club.
Now skip. Now skip.
Skip. Come on, Skip. My grandma in South Georgia told me to not be with Skip more than 7 years. And I was not with Skip more than 7 years.
I'm just saying, it seemed like he was just, like he really was trying to just. It's interesting. In any case, I found it interesting that not only did Larry Elder find a way to kind of subvert the discussion, to steer it away from where Charlemagne was going with it, but also to put Charlemagne on the attack or on the defense. And that was the defense that Charlemagne chose to go with. Like the whole thing was interesting to me.
I wasn't mad.
Cause I'm like, bro, I'm not doubting Charlemagne's ability to interview and all of that. Like he's proven, he's certified, he know what he's doing. But in this instance, I'm like, because you could have stopped all of that by just doubling down and being like, yeah, but you didn't answer the. Can you answer my question? I answer yours. How about that? Like there was so many different ways he could have went about keeping it on track. But I guess it does speak to the fact that he probably is still sensitive about the Joe Biden shit.
He should be.
Well, you know, in his mind and in the minds of several other people, Joe Biden was making a joke, and Joe Biden should, you know, everybody should be able to make jokes.
That wasn't no damn joke.
The problem is at the end of the day when you and your people end up being the joke.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know, as long as you get a laugh, right?
Because you know, I tell you to vote for me, and if you don't vote for me, you're not black. But when you do vote for me, I don't do nothing for you. Gotcha, bitch.
Ain't that part of a long line of white politicians making jokes when they, you know, Hillary Clinton had the hot sauce in her bag. Is it working?
Need some hot sauce.
You know, is it working? We don't. Well, Hillary, I guess it didn't. You know, you know, then we had Obama, who, you know, Barry was a joke in a lot of regards. And then we had who we have, Clinton, right? Saxophone.
I smoke weed.
He's the first black president.
I get
first
head.
black president.
I'm
right.
a black man because I got all my negative characteristics.
So I'm looking at it and I'm like, Joe Biden was just continuing a long tradition of Democratic politicians making jokes aimed at black people. So that's just. But in any case, that's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. I just thought it was interesting. They started the conversation about Negro wake up calls, and both of them seemed to resist the very conversation that was brought up. Charlemagne got put on his ass, bro. You gotta take that L. Give yourself the donkey of the day for that.
Well,
And,
I mean, when you ask, well, he did ask, has he had? Because Larry Elder never answered the question. That's what you're saying. Larry Elder never answered the question of if he had a Negro wake up call, if he knew what a Negro wake up call was.
Yeah, no, because he went right into. Of course, I'm acutely aware that I'm black. Okay, that wasn't the question. I didn't ask if you knew you was black or not.
He asked you, did you know what a Negro wake up call was? And he was like, nah, but I bet your ass do because you had one.
So I just think all of these conversations get to be so disingenuous. Like, because the other thing I'm like is, why the fuck was Charlemagne the God even interviewing Larry Elder? I mean, I know why. He thought he could get one up on him because Charlemagne, I think, overestimated his own intelligence and underestimated that of Larry Elder. Just because somebody has a differing political opinion,
that man seasoned, man,
doesn't mean they stupid.
That man.
No, I think he was actually. Well, I think Larry Elder might have reached out to them because he was trying to promote a book. So you know how they do backdoor this, backdoor that, but yeah, he still shouldn't have had Larry Elder on that fucking show.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I get all that, but come on, it's Charlemagne and even Larry Elder. You take lumps for that too. Why are you on? Ain't nobody that listens to Charlemagne the God gonna buy a Larry Elder book,
right? So because I saw the interview with Biden and Charlemagne live, and when he said that, I think I might have called y'all, or we might have been on the group text or whatever. I remember that day because we ended up talking, and I'm just sitting here like, no, this month didn't just say, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. I like you say, put that old little resting finger. You don't vote for me, you ain't black. Like,
he jabbed him with the finger of white supremacy. You ain't black.
It's like. Hold up, like
it's like he doinked him. Did he doink him?
Like, it's like, but did Buddy really just say this? And Charlemagne said no, just grinning and skinning with him. Then he come back. Well, I wasn't mad. I mean, nobody's asking you to become angry, but you're not even intelligent enough to understand when you disrespected.
Oh, he's intelligent enough. He was embarrassed. You can't be mad and embarrassed at the same time. You know, that's shame. You know, and the lack of a response, you know, really speaks to the amount of dignity he has as a man. And that's another aspect of the whole thing. Because Charlemagne don't get a pass on this, you know, because Charlemagne tries to be out there too, where he sees past, he's transcended past race and, you know, all this other stuff he has with the equality. He got big rainbow flags on the damn show, everywhere posted up. So they try to make it where they're like the United Nations of radio shows, and so when you do that, you forsake, you know, aspects of who you are and where you come from. And he got reminded on that day. That sound like some shit that I would have seen in Django. Like that scene was like the scene from Django, sitting around the table. You know what I mean? Reminding Jamie Foxx, dude, you ain't white. You out here killing white folk. You ain't white.
yeah. You still one of them coloreds now. But Charlemagne is a interesting character for that, because like I said, ain't no way I would have looked straight to that camera and told every black person not to vote for him. Like straight up, do not vote for him. Hey man, I guess Trump gonna win or whatever because we ain't voting for him. But see, go ahead.
They would have needed secret service security. They would have definitely earned their money that day.
And jumped on them, huh? But it's like, but let's go into the larger conversation of why is the Negro wake up call even needed, necessary, or even possible? Like, why are black people putting themselves in the position to even have to have a Negro wake up call?
You,
Whoever.
I mean, Pat, you took a big swig.
No, it wasn't going down easy. I was like, oh, wrong hole. so that was on me. I didn't even hear the question. What'd you say, Joe? It started going down the wrong hole.
Why is the Negro wake up call either needed, necessary, or even possible? Why are black people putting themselves in the position to have to even be subjected to a Negro wake up call?
I think that's something we talked about last week, even though we started talking about like black people wanting to get away from being black. Mm-hmm. Like this is a natural outgrowth of that. Like I love using Native Americans for this analogy because they changed their entire society. You're talking about a nomadic type people. They changed they set down roots. They built up settlements. They did their best white impersonation ever because white people told them, if you did these things, we'd stop fucking with you.
And they did.
They believed it. And now the only Indians most of us have ever seen is in movies. Mm-hmm. Like, so this is time and time again, but it goes back to what PC said earlier about our refusal to learn lessons. Like we're very much, not only are we children, we're mentally handicapped children in a lot of regards. The big R word for those of us that are old enough to remember being able to say that.
What? Okay.
So I think that is why we keep the other one. The other RE word.
Read.
But it's one of them things where it's like because we really believe that there's a way to get them to accept us, we keep putting ourselves in position. We're looking for them to prove that we made through. We're looking for validation.
Yep.
From people that ain't gonna give it to us. So you step up into the batter's cage, the pitcher done hit the last four last batters in the head with the ball. Mm-hmm. And you stepping up expecting something different.
Man, like that Trick Daddy.
And what do you say about the Trick Daddy song?
Nigga.
Right. Because that was a great analogy. To finish off that analogy, the umpire called strike. You know what I mean? So you get plunked with the baseball and the umpire still calls strike. That's what it's like, when we start having black people who need to be reminded that they're black. And in this society, I think like 95% of black people try to even avoid that, like try to avoid the designation of being black. Black people there's a large group of us would rather be niggas than be black.
That's the problem because got a lot of people pushing back on what they call in the hood culture, but it's really nigga culture.
Yeah, nigga shit. All the most ratchet forms and debauchery. We want to claim it. It creates a situation, that part, where we don't have to have high standards to live amongst each other. We don't have to have a culture of accountability. Now, the other aspect of it, the part where the wake up call, where the wake up call would even exist, is that the other half of us wants to forget that we're, connected to anything black, anything African. So they try their best. I mean, you see it in the way that people talk, especially when, like Larry Elder's good at the nasal talk. Now, talking nasally, man,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I am acutely aware that I'm black,
What you
as a
black
man, it's like that nasally discussion, the non-threatening to white folk. And like Pat said, man, trying to appeal to their better nature, trying to win acceptance, trying to, show them that we're good enough. It's like the coin that was turned by the Freedmen's Bureau, where it had the black man on his knee. Yeah. Talking about, am I not a brother?
Am I not a man? Yeah.
Am I not a man? Yeah, it's that bullshit.
If you got to ask that question like that, then what that tell you? That's your answer.
Well, if you answer in submission like that, hell, you can't be a man. And Tariq Nasheed's latest film, Buck Breaking, that came out a few years ago. You know, we had our own little watch party for it. And in that film, Wesley Muhammad spoke about the fact that globally speaking, black men are considered to be the female of all the other races in regards to, so it's kind of like acquiescing to how many emasculated feminine acts can a man do before you allow me into your house. And there's no way you're going to get smacked for that. And it's going to be, and if I was white, I would smack you for that too, to think that you can move like that you could slither your way into this empire that I built. And, I'm gonna wake you up. Because here's the thing, black people can't give black people a wake-up call. Because once these Negroes ascend to a certain place, they don't even hear our voices.
White, well, it's called being white famous and white rich. That's why they call it white famous and white rich. Think about it. That's beyond black. That's when they look at it as the majority of your audience is white and black people can't really touch you. But see, like you said, we're dealing with people who really believe that because of their achievements in their respective fields that they somehow transcend race now. Nah. See, you don't transcend race because they feel that in their minds now, racism is not an issue. It's more classism. No, see, racism is the root of all our ills in America. Everything else grows out of the soil of racism. So even this classism, because it could be a bit of classism, but even this classism is still possible because of racism being in place. Right. So everything comes from racism. Racism may not be the biggest, or it may not seem like it's the biggest issue, and it may seem like this is something that we've moved past, but no, it's the root of all. So if you still don't deal with racism, everything else, you're still dealing with symptoms. You're not dealing with the origin of it all. So guess what? We will never transcend race because racism will always be a problem, because how do you get past something that has had you oppressed for over 500 years? You can't Morgan Freeman it and just like racism don't happen. He just moved past it. No, man. Like they kicked our ass to get us into this. We're gonna have to do something drastic to get up out of this. And it's more than just saying, well, I've achieved this level of success in the world. And hey, look at how many white people like me. Look at how broad my white audience is. Look how many white TV stations I'm on. Hey, I am white famous. I am white rich. And then when you get your Negro wake up call, i.e. Candace Owens, now you want to come running back to black. Because remember, Candace Owens ran away from black when she had a little issue with black. Now she running back with black because the white folk done kicked her out. Same thing, O.J. Simpson.
I am taking a swig on that one.
O.J. Simpson literally said, "I'm not black, I'm O.J." Okay. You got several wake-up calls. Like the idea of you thinking that whatever you do would transcend race when you know the history of racism in this country, you a goddamn fool.
Bruh, when you said, I got you. when you said how people been getting our ass whooped, I'm thinking to myself, they fight back. Like there's a scene in the movie where it's like, fight back, damn it, fight back.
You can't remember. Our fighting back is talking shit and using our voices and telling people off and reading people. Hey, you got read the fifth, so damn it, we won. Reading the fifth don't keep us from being oppressed.
But these Negroes know that shit, man. But it's a cowardly way of saying that we answered back. And I say it's a cowardly way because we know that the way we respond is not going to trigger any results.
You know what? It's funny. I just thought about this. You remember y'all ever seen the videos that's going through social media with the black guy having a satisfying racial moment videos?
Nah.
Yeah.
But it's basically
And-
when, let's say it's a situation where a white person tries to do something that and people deem racist, and then the white person, whatever, they don't go through with it. So let's say a white woman in the parking lot trying to be a dumbass to somebody black, she get put in her place, and that's a satisfying racial moment. And that's supposed to be like the equivalent to the Negro wake-up call, but it's not. The Negro wake-up call could drastically alter somebody's whole life. A satisfying racial moment just make the black person feel good.
I don't understand what's satisfying about that.
Because it make the black person feel good that a white person got quote unquote put in their place.
Oh, okay. I kept getting blocked in on feeling. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. You know, we got to feel good about this stuff here. You know, but
that be those emotional victories.
Right, but that goes into the Negro wake-up call. Negro wake-up call is connected to mandatory manumission as well. Because the white people willing to do black people willing to do whatever to get that place or get the acceptance into the white society. So I'm willing to do whatever I need to do, i.e. did it. That's how I look at him. He getting his wake-up call now. You know, you think you're untouchable? Okay. You think you got white power like that? You think you got the same power these white folk? Okay. We gonna see.
Take that.
Well, you know, it gets to be interesting because I look at it like they're always having all these conversations about who's centered in the conversation, right? Like I had somebody tell me that all that's required to be a feminist is to center women. Okay. All right.
Say what?
You know, basically make women the focal point.
That's all it takes to be a feminist.
Yeah, you know that's what she said. And, you know, and it make a certain kind of sense. It does. I'll be honest. So, but in all of these pro-black discussions, the Negro wake-up call, the what is it? Racist feel-good moment. Is that what it's called?
The satisfying racial moment.
Mm-hmm. To all that dumb shit, right?
Right.
Oh, my fault.
No, you did it right. Dumb shit.
You'd be like, why don't, like, I think the core of why we keep having Negro wake-up calls is that nobody ever truly centers black people.
At all.
Nobody ever really focuses on black people.
No.
And when you say nobody, who you pertaining to?
I'm particularly pertaining to probably about 98.6% of the United States population.
Okay, they don't have to. Yeah, they don't have to center black people.
And then when it comes to the black community, I'm speaking to about 99 what is it? 9 out of 10 dentists? Yeah, we'll say 9.7 out of 10 black folk don't know how to center black people. They don't know how to make black people the focal point.
Because they don't want to.
Right.
So you got a group that don't have to and a group that don't want to.
Well, it's cultural. And the fact of it is, if you don't have a culture. Right. Hey, it's cultural. You know, the destruction of the black community is a cultural thing, you know, spiritual and culturally. And because it doesn't, you know, people want to align themselves with winners. People don't see the black community as being able to win. In fact, we call it a community only in namesake only, but we don't have common unity, right, which is the compound word combined that actually means community. We don't have that. We fight over everything. We don't even respect each other enough or see enough in each other to actually put together a plan that would be beneficial. The closest thing I've seen to it is the survey that PAX put out about 10 years ago, going around to the community and asking people, you know, what are the preliminary issues in your community, on your block, in your neighborhood, and so forth. That's the closest I've seen anybody try to gather. Everybody else is trying to tell black people what we need to do. And because we don't respect each other enough to give a damn about what anybody's opinion is, no matter what your qualifications are, we tend to lose. And then the people that get the sounding, The people that get the air horn or the bullhorns are the Candace Owenses of the world or the Larry Elders of the world. Because when we put a black person in there, they just start sounding buffoonish and crazy, or they start speaking of things that don't necessarily speak to our collective group interests, not directly. Where you can see the angle where they're angling for some type of personal gain. And therefore, and let's face it, as black people, we have a strong amount of vitriol for each other. So our whole thing is to escape this thing, this blackness thing. Man, listen, as a brother who's been pro-black for the last big portion of my life, I'll give it over half of my life, I've been pro-black, black nationalist, Pan-African. One of the things that I find the most interesting is that how much pushback I get on social media from black people. And bruh, I've been in houses with black people, right? I've been in houses with black people who identify as pro-black. Their children interrogate me about, well, why do you have an issue with white people? Why do you love them motherfuckers so much? My question is, you know what I mean? And I'm not even about hating anybody, but it's about self-love. But to tell you to exhibit some self-love makes you feel as though you'll lose access to white folk. So when we break it down, this whole concept, really the whole notion is a conversation we had before. Black people are trying to be party crashers into white supremacy.
Yeah.
So you are, as black people, allowed to partake, to crash the party just as long as you're of some utility. So it's dry over here, go get some drinks. We can use some of those hors d'oeuvres over here, some hors d'oeuvres over here. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or you can entertain us, go up and sing, go dance, do something, get a basketball and dribble, fight club. You know, winner go the chicken dinner goes to the one who's alive at the end.
Or go Diddy style.
Right. You know, take that. Or you can go, you know, you can make money for us. So the whole notion of what Patrick was talking about, the meritorious manumission aspect of it all, those are the only way you're allowed to exist. And as soon as you outlive your usefulness, they then say, okay, then they're the ones who provide the alarm clock. They're the ones that wake you up from the dream. And
because we continue to put ourselves in the position to have Negro wake up calls. Because think about this one thing. Black people get upset at white people when white people move away from them. Black people take that personally and get upset. Well, why are you trying to move away from us when you know we're trying to be next to you? White people will move and black people will move to try to be next. And then white people move even further. Black people get mad and try to move even further. Wherever white people go, black people will try to follow them, to try to be in the place, to try to get the acceptance, to try to be down, because whatever's happening over here, this is the loser side over here. So they want to be with the winners. They want to be with the people with the historical confidence, with the historical victories, the historical wealth. These are our symbols of success. So we need to emulate them. We need to be around them, because being around our own people reminds us of how many L's we've been taking. And hey, we don't have the wherewithal to get our shit together. So we want to forget what our true place is and feel comfortable.
Bruh, black people got mad at Travis Kelce for leaving Taylor Nicole for Taylor Swift. They're still posting like side by sides.
Yeah. That's crazy as hell. They're like, well, he crazy as hell for leaving this and that show.
Wait. Hold on. Y'all can't be dropping new stuff. You know I ain't on social media. What's happening?
Right. That's right. So Travis Kelce, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, he was dating a black girl for a while. He ended up dumping the black girl, and you know he with Taylor Swift now. So black people on social media are angry that he dumped the black girl, and so they've taken a picture of the black girl from behind and take a picture of Taylor from behind. And of course, we know Taylor ain't got no ass, and the black girl got some ass. And they like Travis Kelce has downgraded. He went from this, and then white people got the picture and was like, okay, well, this girl is worth, I don't know, but Taylor Swift was worth $1 billion, so sound like he won. But black people are just so pissed that how could Travis Kelce, who they invited to the cookout, not stay with the black girl, go get with the white girl that ain't got no ass.
Bro. Prior to that, black women were talking about how much swag that Travis Kelce had, how he could wear a pair of blue jeans and some Timbs and look real bad about it.
Now they heartbroken that he dating a white girl now. I'm like, oh my God, oh my goodness, how could he betray us like that? Like, what you betray you? He wasn't never with you.
Travis Kelce is a sellout.
man, y'all and all y'all fake. Because that man went in the league, y'all wouldn't be messing with him like that. So stop that. But that's another example. We have to have that proximity to whiteness. We have to have white people loving us and liking us, being on our radar, talking about us, praising us, making us feel good. Because that low collective and low individual self-esteem, that vacant esteem that we have, the vacant esteem on the inside, we're trying to fill that up with nothing.
I'm happy I'm not on social media.
Are you looking at the pictures?
Yeah, you see his whole screen lit up.
The head went to the side.
I was thinking about it, and then I was like, you know what? I don't want to see that. Because it goes back into what I was just saying about how nobody wants to censor. Wait, so how many NFL players are there?
I don't know.
It's like a lot. It's
32, 34 teams with 53 men on the roster. So let's say 34 times 53, what that is.
So out of all of those hundreds and hundreds of players,
1,800 players.
Okay, so out of that, those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of players, most of whom are black, correct? Right? Like,
but see, Travis Kelce he got a fade and he good at playing tight end and he fast.
Okay, so hold
on. And he got
a
little black people swag, so he invited to the cookout. So he reminded the black people.
So out of them 1,800 players, most of whom are black, hundreds of whom have fades, are fast, and play tight end.
Still though, Pat.
Have a little swag. And are dating a black woman, or are married to a black woman, or have children and whole families by black women.
But he got like what's the Allstate commercials with Patrick Mahomes with with Jake from Allstate and Patrick Mahomes, like my auto and all that stuff, man. Like Mahomes and my auto, like bro, what you talking about? Like Travis Kelce played with Kansas City, dog. He played with Patrick Mahomes, dog. Like he black, dog. Like he got all the black substance, dog. Like Kansas City, that's barbecue. Who like barbecue more than black people, dog? I'm saying.
This is, the irony is there was a famous black woman who also showed up to football games to cheer on her football husband, and that was Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens. But then we saw how that conversation turned.
He just alley hooped it, because that's exactly where I was gonna go after I took a detour to talk about how common this white boy actually is in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. See, you trying to look at it from an actual logical standpoint and using reason and stuff.
I'm looking at it from a lie. Let's center, because you Negroes.
No, you black person with your thinking.
You Negroes. You know what? It's over though, because I was looking at a study. I was looking at this study about 12 to 15 years ago now that said that at that time, 25% of black people between 18 and 25 believe that white people experience more racism than black people did. I'd be interested to see what that number is now.
And remember, the racism is not white women. It's only straight white males. It's nobody but straight white males, while everybody else in the white race trying to act like they innocent. So.
Again, we talking about... And I want to explain something to people. When we start talking about centering and making somebody the focal point, that don't mean looking at them and then looking at the world around them. No, that means putting yourself best as you can in their situation and looking out at the world through their eyes. There's no way you could do that and still look at something like satisfactory white racism bull. What is it? The boo-boo draws and white panty shit, the dumb shit.
Satisfying racial moment.
There's no way that comes into your mind if you're and then with the Travis Kelce thing. Wait, so
see, black people got their wake-up call when they thought that Travis Kelce was supposed to marry the white girl because black people like him. And he's invited to the cookout and he got a high top fade, Pat.
Let's be honest though. And he good at football. Even with the cookout, let's be honest about the cookout. At this point, it's gonna be more white people there than black people.
But isn't that what Martin Luther King asked for though? The color, it's the color of your skin, not the content. I mean, it's the content of your character.
Why are you even bringing up Martin Luther King? Because all he do is trigger black women because he was not a good man.
Oh, my man needs some more.
Right. And we listen, man. This tonight's the sound bites, bro. Because at the end of the day, man, it gets to a point where you're like,
"What more do you want from me?"
We, bro. And I blame. And this is the genius, of the things that wasn't discussed during the Willie Lynch letter, in terms of, but it was talked about. I don't know why I can't remember this. Charles Manson talked about this. Understanding the motivations, the way to motivate black people is spiritually. So anything that'll get your spirits up, whether it's fear, celebration, excitement, and the genius of creating the black church from a perspective of a feel-good theology. Yeah. And so everything we do now is tied into feeling good. And so the brother that says another, satisfactory racial moment, he's doing a little, dance at the end of the video. When Gucci came out.
On, PC. Was it a jig?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I ain't even watched.
It is. Yeah. It's very sad. Then you got God damn it, Pat. Because now I can't get that. I can't unsee that now. But the shit, fuck it. Go on, man. I can't.
I got you, Pat. Let me help you out, Pat. Let me help you out.
You Negroes are unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
And he's doing it in whiteface.
I think it's up to us as citizens to do the same. When a young African American walks in a Cheesecake Factory with a Make America Great Again hat, he shouldn't be verbally accosted. You should maybe inquire as to why he's wearing it if you want to hear his point of view, but he should by no means feel that he's not welcome in a restaurant. Okay. This is the problem that we have as Americans, and we can all do better.
Most I know you want to respond to that. What do you want to say?
Nah, I was wondering what I do was in a Cheesecake Factory, but I think for me, most I think for me,
I don't even get how that's a satisfying racial moment.
Because it just made a motherfucker feel good that somebody who wasn't on the Democratic side got laughed at.
Yeah.
So black people don't go to Cheesecake Factory?
And black people have to only be Democratic.
I've eaten at the Cheesecake Factory and I will do so again.
I'm gonna let you and PC have this one. I'm gonna bow out until we go somewhere.
But we just had to teach you about the satisfying racial moment, dog, because that is just as powerful as the Negro wake up call, Pat. So you can see y'all missing what I'm trying to put up. What I'm trying to put down.
Look, but in that same fashion, man, and that same Joe about to go into another reel. In the same fashion, like when Gucci came out with that mammy shirt, black people with like the mammy face, the response to it was a black person on a white T-shirt, drawing a face with thin lips, and looking like baloney lips and shit. And black people like, I love black people. Our comebacks be this, but it don't change the circumstances for black people. And that's what I mean about the weak ways we respond to shit. It's a way for that feel good moment. Another, I'm not going to do the dance, but another satisfying racial moment. It seems to be the only thing we strive for. We don't want to do the work that comes with this, because to address the Negro wake up call, we wouldn't need a Negro wake up call if black people would start working together to nation build. We wouldn't need it.
Right. You wouldn't have to operate within society.
Listen, man, if all the white folk got together with Elon Musk and all these other cats and decided to get on spaceships and leave Earth, black people would probably starve in 3 months, because we're so dependent on them to run and operate nations.
Of course.
And I know in the comment section what you're saying right now, that's not true. We built it. Yeah, we used to. We might come from a civilization that's the birth of civilization, but we have forgotten our way.
Stop. We got to stop trying to live
off building clubhouses. You know what I'm saying? And even the way we build right now is modeled after European shit. That's one of the reasons why, nobody wants to say it, but that's one of the reasons why all the black townships were so easily destroyed, post Civil War and Reconstruction, because black people didn't operate and communicate like our ancestors did. We didn't have any communal communities where if we needed help, we didn't even think about the fact that we would need help in regards to fighting off the same people who they just went to war with their own country to keep you in bondage.
See, we
didn't even have the foresight to even think about that.
See, we got to have this conversation again, the F word, PC. So you keep forgetting. And now it's time, there's 2 F's, forgiveness and faith, right? Because we were supposed to forgive our enemies and have faith that God would keep us safe from these terroristic white people.
Well, there's a third F word. It's called fuckery.
We got another one that's failure, because in those times, the Negro wake up call in that aspect was you having your town destroyed.
Or failure of imagination.
Well, yeah, definitely a lot of that. But I think he did keep us safe. We still here.
Okay. Metaphorical, safe in alignment. And alignment is a real word now.
Well, I think the challenge that Negroes face is that here's the problem. We are through and through a social people. And all of our natural strengths and assets are not strengths or assets in this environment. And we have failed miserably to adapt accordingly in terms of acquiring strength, but we have adapted brilliantly in terms of survival. And the problem with that is, I wonder if we're on this place where, we talk about like evolution, Darwinism, right? And we talk about the strongest, the most adaptable survives. But what they don't talk about is adaptation is kind of a one-way street. Like you can't evolve in reverse. Like once you start down a particular evolutionary path, it's kind of locked in. If it don't work out, you just up shit's creek.
You're gonna die.
And so now I'm wondering, Is that where black folk are culturally? Like, are we just at a place where we picked the path and it was working for us beautifully at one point, but now the world and the environment has shifted so much that we can't go back because white people have made society in their image, and in their image is all about command and conquer, domination, and resources.
Mhm.
And so this idea, this cultural capital idea that we have, this social capital idea we've had, and this is something we got to be real about, even going all the way back to ancient times. Black people have always, across a good chunk of the cultures I've studied, I'm not going to say all, but black people have always had this infatuation with social capital. Swag, looking the prettiest, looking the flyest, having the most jewels, having the best, being able to stand out from the crowd has always been a thing. So we're in a world now where that shit don't do nothing but get you fucked. Can we get rid of that, or are we just fucked?
No, Patrick, because we cannot be a monolith, because they keep telling us that we're not a monolith. So we can't have this unity or this centralized thought or these codes of conduct that we put together. We cannot put
Well, you know what?
We'll be a monolith.
Well, they
And
can
you know how
toot their
bad that
lips up,
is.
and I'm gonna give monolith. And you know,
Man,
what,
you know
look,
how bad being a monolith is. I mean, look at all the other groups who have some kind of monolithic thought. Oh, damn, they doing better than us. My bad. Yeah.
Well, we suffer, and unless we can sort of go out there on a journey, and get all of the gemstones of the universe, and somebody's able to catch up to,
or the Dragon Ball, whichever one we get first.
Right. Then I do think that we're on the path of self-destruction. We're on the path of annihilation. And I don't think people really care, to be honest with you. I think, it's like what we're doing is a lifestyle for us. We eat this, breathe this, and talk this every day, even to each other. And then when we out in the world, we all have our own ways of doing it. But it's centered upon, we center it on black people. The problem is the majority of black people that engage in all this want to be a part of it like it's a damn party. And it's an after party. So basically what you have is people do their 9 to 5, and then from 6 to 9, they're, world stomping revolutionary. Right? Right. But they go to bed, they wash this all off, and they get back and go to their day to day. In other words, black people ain't really planning for no change in the status quo. Not no positive change anyway. The black people you're talking about, like somebody was, Dr. Claude Anderson was saying, white supremacists, they plan for generations, and I've read that in Carol Quigley's book, what's it called? Tragedy and Hope. They plan for generations. They plan in 25-year and 50-year and 100-year increments. We don't plan past the weekend. So most people that have a job, if you have a job sweeping floors, you ain't planning on even looking for the next damn job until that job becomes insufferable. Most of us are not planning past what's happening. So if the government shut down again, right? For whatever reason, we have a lockdown again. We're still going to be in the same embarrassing place we were 4 years ago when we're begging schools to open just so our children will have access to breakfast and lunch.
And that's what we can't teach our own kids.
Well, we don't. Even in the uprisings, black people wasn't leading that shit. When you had the cities on fire, black people weren't leading those. I was out in the streets in Philly and West Philly on 52nd Street. I saw who was leading those bands of black young people. It wasn't black people. Even then. So We're not planning. And in fact, those bands of black people at some point were attacking other black people.
Hey.
Cannibalizing on one another. So we don't have a crisis. Most people don't even have a fire plan. Like if their house caught on fire, they don't even have a plan on how to get out the house.
Hey.
I've been trying for the longest to even get my family together and say, listen, if a catastrophe happens, the first thing we have to worry about is the loss of communication. How do we know where to go to and where to meet up? You can't even get people to sit still for 5 minutes to even engage that conversation.
Hey, man, look. If you think they love you now, ooh, yeah, wait until your wake up call. You niggas, cause they gonna give it to your ass. Oh, you thought them white folk really want you. You thought them white folk really love you now. Wait until your Negro wake up call. Cause that's what your ass gonna get. And you're gonna be feeling, your feelings gonna be hurt. You're gonna be mad. I thought the white folk loved me. Now I got to go back to the black peoples. You can't sit here.
That was a lot.
Right.
That was a lot. Jesus.
You can't sit here.
Can't sit here. Seats taken.
Hey, man. As long as we keep seeking validation outside of ourselves, we're gonna keep being disappointed and keep coming up with nothing. Nothing from nothing equals nothing.
Nothing from nothing. That's Eddie Murphy.
Who else?
Well, that was what his father saying, but no.
Nothing from nothing, at least nothing.
Well, black people, a mass of black people are due to have a real wake-up call coming maybe 2030 or 2050, when we really see how the economy is affected in a negative way towards us, and it's not favorable. We're gonna have a real wake-up call, because like PC said, we're not individually and as a mass, we're not planning for the future. So the future gonna kick us right in the face. So you better be
wake up call right now. With the economy.
You make sure the us's and we's who watch this, you make sure you plan for the future. You do it. You plan for the future. Put yourself in the best position, and your family in the best position for the future. Because we can't save anybody who don't want to put the plans in. So you make sure you get your stuff straight, and we connect. So FetLifeStation.com. Y'all already know what it is. FetLifeStation.com. This afternoon, 7 p.m. Tune in. If you ain't tuning in, I don't know what to tell you. Hey, if you don't listen to FetLifeStation.com, you ain't black.
only on Fridays.
All right.
Fridays at 7 p.m. Fridays at 7 p.m. And we're gonna talk about the Alpha Widow today.
All right. I love you all. Make sure y'all catch the next video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Get in the comments. We out.